Today, this is the first one of a series of videos. I recently bought the Doom 2nd edition board game from Fantasy Flight. Brilliant game, loved it to bits, but just thought the minis didn't look too good. I'm no painter, I don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of paint, so I thought, have a look into painting these miniatures, see how good I could get them. So I thought I'd do a series of videos to show people how you can paint them pretty quickly with not a lot of talent and not a lot of paint, and make them look a hell of a lot better than they do in the base game. So the first one I'm going to do is the easiest one to do in the set, and that is the Imp. That is this guy right here. As you can see, hopefully he comes out pretty good on the video. But yeah, so he's relatively easy, doesn't have a lot of colour dependency, just a couple of the tusks on his back and his teeth. It's a pretty simple process, this one. So a couple of coats of paint and a wash and a bit of a trim for his bony stuff. So first of all, obviously you need to do your undercoat. I always use black, no white, just always have done. I mean, even when I used to paint 20 odd years ago, I used to use a black primer, and it's just stuck with me. And then for the base, we use Bugman's Glow. So I'll give that a shake and get this open. And so what you want to do here is pretty much you're looking to completely cover the whole model in this stuff. So quite a fair bit of paint, so water it down just a touch, and then really just go to town on him and just get all of the areas covered on the model that you can. I mean, obviously you don't want it to settle into pools to fill in the detail, but at the same time you want to make sure for these two coats that you get a decent amount of coverage on him, especially when towards the end, as he dries out, you'll start to see the different layers, and it almost, for want of a better way, it's like lazy shading essentially, because you'll start to notice the pieces where you've done not quite got as much paint on him, will kind of look a little bit darker, and it kind of gives him a pretty good sort of dirty look. So let's get this completely covered for the first coat. Again, no need to be too fussy about getting it even, just make sure that you're getting covered. And we get the insides of those little bone structures there, and then in accuracy, not the key. If you want to watch someone who's very good at painting these models a lot better than I am, there are videos available. Like I say, this is very much more for if you're like me and you don't have a lot of time to spend doing this. I just wanted to demonstrate to people that it is possible to get these things looking pretty good without having to be an absolute painting genius. Okay, so that's pretty much the first coat done. Oh, hang on, no it isn't, missed the bit on the inside of that leg. just in there, up in there. There you go. Okay, and under that leg. So that is pretty much it. Don't worry about getting any on the base, as you can always go back over that once he's all finished. So we'll put him aside and we'll leave him to dry, and then when he's dry we'll come back and put on the second coat. Now he's dry, it's time for his second coat, which again is pretty much just more of the same of what I put in for his first coat. Just get it a decent amount of coverage all over him, making sure that by the time you're finished, every single bit of him has got a second coat of paint applied. Don't overdo it. Just use as broad strokes as you can. And just try to get him nice and covered. Again, just try to make sure that you don't let the paint pool in any of the detail. That comes later. So between the fingers is an easy place to miss. I just did. There you go. So again, second coat goes on quite a bit easier than the first one. Again, you don't have to be too accurate. Just make sure that by the time you're finished that he's wet again from top to bottom. And there you go. For the bone parts, we just used a tiny bit of Screaming Skull, and there's not really that much on him that needs to be painted for bone. I mean, he has toes as well. I'm not really too bothered about his toes, but I will definitely be wanting to paint the two horns on his back, his teeth and his claws. So what we do is with the Screaming Skull, again it's just take a bit in here, take your time, try not to paint over any of the other parts that aren't bone coloured. If you do, obviously it's not a massive deal, you can always just come back later. So you got the two of those. Make sure you get all of the sides and the edges of these. Sometimes it can be easy to miss, like the inside of one, and you notice at the end, and it's annoying. Okay, so those are those. For his teeth, you literally just want to just fill in this portion of his mouth. Again, you don't need to be massively accurate here, because we will be putting a wash over him, which will kind of bring out the detail in this section a lot better than it looks at the moment. Just make sure you get a decent amount of coverage on those gnashes. And then finally, the fiddliest bit out of all of it, just touching the very ends of each of his fingers where you got the little exposed talon. almost. I mean, and again, really going to making sure that you get both sides. You get good all-round coverage on that. And we do the same with the other one. And there we go. Again, well, let's fill that bit out a little bit more. Clumsy. And again, you need to leave this to dry, and then we'll come back and we'll finish him off with a wash once that's dried out. Now he's all ready, dried up. So now we take some Reikland Fleshshade, if that's pronounced properly, I don't know. And what you want to do with this stuff is just spread it everywhere. Try and control how much you've got on your brush a little bit, but generally speaking, just absolutely plaster the guy in this stuff. Now this, if you're not familiar with Citadel paints, this is the stuff. This is designed to run into the details on the model, and it gathers there and dries, and it will basically show up all of this detail on the model. So all of these like lovely little sort of lines on the model, the little creases, the chest plate areas, all of this stuff, it will show all of this up. It also does a really nice job, in my opinion anyway, of discolouring the bone that we painted earlier into a very nice yellowy, bony kind of colour. And that literally is it. We say to give it a good wash over with this stuff. Try as best you can to keep it from pooling on any of the kind of surface areas. You want it to pool in the crevice areas when it dries. That's about it really. Once he dries, he will come out at the other end looking pretty much the same as this guy here. I'm quite pleased with that. And again, it doesn't take very long, doesn't use hardly any paint, and if you're like me, not a very good painter, it still makes the miniature look fantastic for playing the game. Not sure what I'll be tackling in my next video, but I'll be doing one for each of the different enemy types. So yeah, see you around.